sort of started in Vietnam when I was living and working there as an English teacher. And I was just yearning to come back to South Africa. I want fresh air, I miss the mountains, I grew up here. And that was at a time when veganism was really starting to take off. And I was living with a pair of women in Vietnam who were lactose intolerant. And one of them was actually making this cashew nut cheese. And I tasted it and I was absolutely just blown away. It was fantastic, it was great. So I started immediately from there doing market research, looking at what was available in South Africa, getting costings done and experimenting. And the main thing I wanted was to come up with a product that was kind of a bit more premium than what was available at the time. And along the way, obviously you got to come up with a name. So I initially had the name Illuminati in mind, and thank goodness that didn't stick, because I don't think it would have done half as well. But my girlfriend at the time, who actually started the business with me, came up with Fauxmage. The Fauxmage is sort of a play on the French word for cheese, which is fromage, and faux meaning fake in French, so sort of fake cheese. We thought that was pretty good. Within my first month here, I had bought my first load of cashew nuts, made my first batch of cheese, and I brought it down. We had a little local village market here in Stanford, and it all sold out, sort of to my surprise. So that was just a great, sort of push in the right direction. And here we are, 7 years later. We sell about 3 tons of nut-based cheese and butter a year, which is small numbers compared to the big business, but out of our little factory, it's 4 of us. Yeah, we're started, we're happy. Our products, it's a relatively straightforward process to make a nut-based cheese. So we take a raw cashew nut, we soak it in water, and once it's done, we heat treat the nuts. That's sort of just to kill any pathogens that may be present. And following that, we run them through our peanut butter machine, which turns it into a paste. And once we have the paste, we introduce a culture that ferments the nut, and that's where we get all those really nice cheesy flavors. Following that, the fermentation we do for about 12 to 18 hours, depending on the time of year, so it's temperature dependent. And then the product is simply seasoned, shaped into whatever shape it's going to be. So we use the same cashew nut base for our chèvre style product, which is like a goat cheese imitation. We make a camembert and we make a blue cheese, a gorgonzola. So those all start with the same cashew nut base. So we shape that and we set that at a colder temperature so it can be worked with, because when it's room temp, it's quite, imagine a peanut butter sort of a texture. And from there, we have some mature cheeses that take 2 to 4 weeks to grow the white or blue mold. And we actually also introduced recently a macadamia nut-based cheese that we mature for 3 months. So that gets like a stronger sort of cheesy flavor. Package, sent to the shop, and on your table to enjoy. That's pretty much the process. Owning a vegan business, it just makes it so easy. There's, every step of the way, you're being pushed. Push sounds like it's a bad thing, but pushed in a good way to just make decisions that benefit the planet long term. Our factory is already about 90% solar powered, and we use a lot of paper labeling products where we can. We compost all our waste. So sustainability for us, very, very important. Switching to a vegan cheese, if your objective is to ingest fewer calories, great option. There is a lower fat content. Cashews in particular are very high in magnesium. They've got a fair bit of protein. The main difference is, of course, the magical ingredient that people look for in a dairy cheese, casein, which gives cheese that stretchy, cheesy melt. Nut-based cheeses don't have that. So we have to make up for it by just packing in the flavor. If you have never tried a nut-based cheese, I strongly suggest you do it. They're really, really good. They're their own thing. They got their own thing going. I think for anybody has got a dream, they want to start a business, and they don't know where to start, it can be very intimidating, especially when you start looking at things like company registration, tax compliance, auditing requirements. In the food industry, it's obviously more complex. I would advise to start where you can, with what you can. And our brains are wonderful things. We very quickly start to figure out where improvements need to be made, what needs to happen. And the problem with thinking about it all too much beforehand is just can overwhelm you. There's just so much. But if you just start small, you add to it and you add to it and you add to it. And it's also a safe way to do it without putting too much capital on the line. That's the way I did it. It's not necessarily the best way for any business, but for somebody that's got a small business dream, a safe and approachable way to start.